everyone, it's Judy Warner. Welcome back to this week's Ecosystem Podcast. Man, do I have a treat for you guys today. I'm joined by signal integrity pioneer, expert, and author Donald Telian today. We're going to talk about his upcoming live class, and he also gave our community, the ecosystem community, a special promo code for a discount. And also, I'll be giving away 3 of his books, Signal Integrity in Practice, when you join the ecosystem. Now let's jump in so you can hear all the details. Hi, Don. Thanks so much for joining today. I'm excited to pump up your signal integrity and practice class. But before we hop into that, why don't you take a quick moment to introduce yourself and tell folks about the class you're going to be doing soon.
Aha. Well, thank you, Judy. It's always an honor to be part of the ecosystem, and we're back again. So thanks for that. My name's Donald Telian, and I'll give a little more of my background in a second. But signal integrity is my life. I've been doing it for 40 years, and I'll explain kind of what that means. But we're here largely to talk about an upcoming classes. This is kind of where I'm innovating the most right now is the multi-dimensional class that we're doing. So we'll talk about that. The next class is in Silicon Valley, Milpitas, and that's mid-May. And we'll give the details on where you can click to learn more about that.
Okay, so we had a lot of fun last year doing this live in Boston and Santa Clara. And people have been asking about when you're going to do it again. So I'm excited that there's actually something on the calendar. Um, but for those folks that maybe aren't local to Milpitas or whatever, I wanted to start this out in a fun way, which was by doing a giveaway of Signal Integrity in Practice, which is Don's book. I got the light on it. This is Eric Bogatin, the king of SI, sings praises. It's like this is everything that's been left out. It's the hands-on work that Don's done for years. So if you go and sign up for the doubleecosystem.com, I'm going to draw for free books. So make sure you go over before, by the time we get to the end of class, sign up for that. And that will be done within a week. And also for Don's class, he's given the ecosystem community a special promo code, which is EE early. So capital double E early, lowercase. And you can use that on his website on sciguys.com. And so we wanted to give you all the goodies right up front. So now let's jump into the class, Don. So again, I mentioned we did it in person. It was very well received last year. So why don't you tell the folks about what's unique about this class? SI is a very broad term. So tell us from your 40 years how you would encapsulate this class.
Yeah. So let me belabor something for just a second because I think it'll make sense when I bring this back around. Um, like I said, I've been doing this my whole life. I've been very privileged to, not only be doing signal integrity, but largely defining how it's done. I'm maybe best known for leading the charge with IVUS, right? But I also did the PCI bus. I started that out. I kicked that off. That's now in its 10th generation. I mean, it's ubiquitous. It's everywhere. Um, I moved from there though, 'cause, friends try to, well, what do you do for a living, right? And I'm kind of, the training website says I'm a pioneer, okay, and so maybe that works for you. I'm kind of an innovator. I mean, they usually wind up saying, "Oh, you invent things, right?" And so that's probably not a bad in the signal integrity space, that's probably not a bad description because then I went from doing those 2 things that got us into transmission lines and W elements and things like that. But then I worked with Intel to integrate S parameters into the world of signal integrity. That was a new thing, around 2000. That was they of course they had been there in RF, but they were band limited. Now it's wideband signal integrity. It was a new thing, right? And then we did this amazing convolution of to get millions of bits simulated. That was one of the biggest things that ever happened in in SI. And so I pioneered that with IBM primarily as a partner, and that later became AMI models. So, all that to say, oh, and in the middle of that, I came up with the term power integrity and launched those first tools. So this is the world I've been privileged to be in, and I'm like, "Gosh, we've invented such great stuff." I said, "I wanna go design with this." So then I became a consultant. So for 20 years, I've been designing product using those technologies that I helped pioneer. So So here's now that took a little too long, sorry. But 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 now what my passion or my interest is taking what I've learned from designing hundreds of products all over the globe, right? And then, I'm in a unique position to boil that down and bring you what you need to design your products. And I that's what I find very exciting. Actually, I find enabling, empowering the younger engineers to design their own products is that's that's it. That's what I want to innovate now. And so that's kind of what's unique about the class. So let me bring it home because most of the context you learn signal integrity in, they're kind of maybe tool focused, right? The context is the tools, and the tools are they're trying to solve 220 gigabits per second. But you're designing Gen 5, Gen 6, your fundamental frequency 16 gigahertz, right? So so you don't necessarily need all that stuff. So my role is to take what's out there and bring it into your design context and make sure your designs succeed. Okay? So it's the lens of a product design, right? Not even necessarily signal integrity as it applies to product design, okay?
So you've talked in the past, and we've sort of played around together with this language, but I like where you've landed, which is Gen 1 and Gen 2 signal integrity, and you sort of touched on what Gen 1 was. So how do you see Gen 2? And, and then, let's then we'll go ahead and do that, Don, and then we'll dive in a little bit more.
Okay, thanks, yeah, so I'm delineating, what I'm calling Gen 1 and Gen 2 signal integrity, and the craft has changed, we're going 5,000 times faster. We are squarely into what I'm calling Gen 2. So this is my most popular post on LinkedIn. So so if you haven't found that yet, go read about that. You can get more information there, but basically, it takes us into the new era of signal integrity. This is what the book focuses on, is Gen 2, the things we need to know now, right? So, it's to everyone's advantage, to the students, the teacher, the classes, time efficiency, everything, to kinda just acknowledge what's already a given. Like, I don't have to explain about, too much about transmission lines. I talk about it a little bit, but that's kind of a given at this point in history, right? So we get to go and talk about what's new and exciting and the things that, your viewers are already touching, equalization. Like they have to tune their links now. This is the number one reason why links work and the number one reason why they fail. So the class takes takes that into the realm of signal integrity because that's you don't have a signal unless you have equalized it.
Yeah, I think the equalization part is something you've taught me, um, that just blew my mind, right? That even me, a civilian engineer, that I think was really powerful. And also, when we were holding the classes on that day 2, you see these giant, literally open eyes, pun intended, where they were like a aha moment, but also through equalization to see their eyes open up and actually manipulate the registers through equalization inside the chips. That was, holy cow, it was just a huge moment to watch that unfold. So, with all of that in mind, who should attend?
Yes. There's this is for double E's. Like this is what I've been doing. I've learned how to take signal integrity, and kind of demystify it, right? So double E's are coming to the class and they're learning what they need to do at what data rate, and a lot of the small, mid-sized companies, they don't have the luxury of a signal integrity group, so they need to learn how to cover this. Um, that said, of course, it's also for signal integrity engineers, right? But it's
Mhm.
a much wider envelope of who this matters to and who is benefiting from it. It's interesting because it's a lot of the signups are my own customers. They see me doing this, right? And they're like, "Well, I'm gonna send some EEs into this," right? And that's a trend, but it's not just for my own customers. It's for
Right.
it's for hardware designers the world over, a good chance to my tagline in Sci Guys is, "Real data, no nonsense," right? And so
Mhm.
I'm just trying to and that's what Gen 2 is. Gen 2 is not it's not Signal integrity used to get called black magic and things like that. We're well past that now. We just have some basic things to explain. So, I
Well,
hope that
most
answers the
engineers
question.
I know, they don't want to hear a bunch about theory, they just wanna fix their product, right? And so what I appreciate about your class is the whole idea of signal integrity in practice, teaching E's how to do this themselves and sort of wherever you are, whether you are an existing signal integrity engineer or an EE, there's things to learn for everybody here, but I love that it's, like, hands-on. Like, don't just get up there and tell me, theories, right? And fields and all that. It's like, here's how you fix it, um, which I think
Yes.
is of immense value. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna okay, sit back, Mr. Telian. Don't get embarrassed while I read this off. But I pulled off, since you and I did this last year, I pulled out our survey, our exit survey, and I thought for our audience sake, it'd be interesting to hear some of the feedback. So I sort of cherry picked off the top where we got 90 percent or better said these things about the class. This one said, I appreciated the multi-dimensional learning approach with lecture, hands-on, online and offline. So, we should let our audience know that one, while you're attending the class, you'll get some FaceTime, right? So you'll get to talk about your products, what you're doing with Dawn directly. But there's also office hours that follow. And our class attendees, I was so surprised how many showed up for that. We did that for I don't know, 4 or 6 weeks, every couple of weeks, and you are working on the products with them, and, it's
Yeah.
like you're getting a world-class consultant to hang out with afterwards, and, everybody learns better by doing. So, that was just a huge off the chart response. Another one, that I think was compelling was people said, "I will recommend this master class, Signal Integrity and Practice to others." So, that's 90 plus percent. So that lets me know that we hit the target. Hardware EEs designing high-speed PCBs need this course. That was kind of a surprise to me. I don't think it was as much a surprise to you. Is if you're designing high-performance PCBs, there's things for you to learn here that will be very impactful and make your product work. The instructor and materials are engaging, which is great. Nobody likes a snooze fest. And the last one says, I valued the time spent outside the class environment. And that's just hitting again at the office hours and the chance to just break bread, right? And we just do better learning in person. So if that's available to you, then I highly recommend it. And if you can't, go sign up to the ecosystem today. Within a week, I'm going to give away 3 books. They're sitting on my desk. I'm ready to give them away. And better yet, go to the class and buy the book, right? And then you have reference materials and you can meet Don and have access to his know-how. Um, so let's tell the folks now, Don, about exactly where it is, what the days are, and where they can go sign up and get more information.
Yes. The specific dates for Silicon Valley are May 14 and 15. And if you go to SciGuys.com, SciGuys is my consulting business name. sci-guys.com/training. All you have to do is go sci-guys.com training. You'll get all the details you need, the full agenda, the fun things we do. We plan multiple meals together. It's of course classroom instruction, but there's hangouts, there's informal. This has benefited people just tremendously, as you know, Judy, and it creates the rapport as well for those office hours, and those are just crazy fun, because people are
Yeah,
they've got their projects up, and we're answering, the real stuff, real time, and they're winning, it's great.
I love it. It was so fun to do this with you, before and that is going to be held where? In Milpitas?
Yes. Oh, that's at, Rody Schwartz facility in
Okay.
Silicon Valley, and the address is on the website, but, uh, yeah, it's in their facility in Milpitas, and we look forward to seeing all you there.
Well, Don, thanks so much for coming on and teasing this, and I hope we have the shared passion for educating and giving hands-on education to engineers, so I appreciate so much everything you do and for giving me these 3 books to give away and to encourage people to both join our community. I am a sponsor of the class along with Rhody, and, I think you guys should pull out all the stops to get there. So, Don, thanks for coming and teasing your new class, and I can't wait to see how it goes. And I will be sure for our audience, make sure that I will share everything in the show notes. So if you didn't catch that link or whatever, I'll put all of that in the show notes below. And thank you for joining us again. Don, best wishes. Please come back and tell us about it after it's done.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Judy. It's always an honor.
For our audience, thanks for joining us today. I hope you've enjoyed this little infomercial for Dawn's class. I hope you will join it. I promise you will not regret it if you do. And I know that firsthand. Now go check out those show notes. We'll see you next week. Until then, remember to always stay connected to the ecosystem.